friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is inspired by a podcast that I heard on Dear Book Nerd. I don't believe that it is up and running anymore as a podcast, but I heard this podcast and it just really got me thinking about reading and our expectations of ourselves, maybe our viewers on us as content creators, maybe just the Bookish community, maybe peer pressure, maybe perceived peer pressure. I've never been peer pressured to read a certain amount of books or anything like that, buy certain books, but sometimes we put expectations on ourselves that are not realistic. And I know this is the time for everybody to make their New Year's resolutions and their bookish resolutions. And I did do a bookish resolutions last year, and I think I did it the year before that as well. This year, I'm not so sure I'm going to be making any bookish resolutions. Not sure, but as of this moment, I really don't think so. And that was all inspired by this podcast. So Dear Book Nerd is the podcast, and it was There Is No Should in Reading. That was like the caption or the title of the episode I was listening to. And that just really got me thinking about there is no should in reading. When you read as a hobby, it's supposed to be fun. You should read what you want, when you want it, how you want, whether that be audiobook, ebook, physical book, used book, new book. It doesn't really matter whether you borrow the book from the library, borrow the book from a friend, get it as a gift. It really doesn't matter. We're doing this as a hobby. It's something we enjoy, and so we should keep it that way. It really doesn't help when you put extra stress on yourself about reading, because I have found that it does take a little bit of the fun out of it. When I pick up a classic book because I should be reading a classic book, I don't enjoy it as much as when I get a beautiful classic book and I'm in the mood for a classic book, so I pick it up and read it and I enjoy it so much more. Now, I do think that challenging yourself is a great thing when you read as much as some of us do, but I don't think there is any should in reading. I don't think that you should read a book a week, a book a day, a book a month. A book a year even. I think that reading is something that is tailored to each individual, and I think that's what makes resolutions so much fun, is because it's a personal challenge to you, to challenge yourself, or to let those expectations go. I just hope that everybody out there realizes that this is our hobby. We're not doing it for a job, or most of us are not. This is just something that we do fun on the side. We have regular jobs that have nothing to do with books. Some of us do have jobs to do with books, but for the most part, I would say we're either in school or working, and we're just doing this on the side for fun. If we make money, bonus, but for the majority of us, we're not doing this for the money. I also want to say that when you set expectations too high and then you don't achieve those, that can be very damaging, self-damaging, I think. But if you just lower your expectations and remember that you're doing this for fun, that this is a hobby, I think that's great. So never feel like you should be reading a certain genre, or you should be reading a certain author or amount of books, or anything like that. You should be reading what you enjoy, whether that includes graphic novels or manga or middle grade, young adult, it doesn't really matter. Fiction, nonfiction, there is no should in reading. I hope I have made that perfectly clear. I'm sure I forgot some things that I wanted to tell you across. Again, these are all my opinions, but when I heard that podcast, I just wanted to there is no should in reading. So it really sat with me. I'm going to try to link the podcast down in the description box. So make sure you check that out if you're interested in their take on that. What they do is they kind of answer some other questions. It's like a question and answer session on this last podcast. And one of the topics brought up is there is no should in reading. So I really enjoyed that, and I hope you do too. I hope you've enjoyed this discussion. I'm going to try to do a couple of other discussion videos coming up, but let me know if you like these discussion videos by giving this a big thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It is growing and I am loving it. So thank you to everybody who has subscribed and will subscribe. But that's all I have for you today. I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!